It's the worksite of the century at Chambord, bringing back to life 6.5 hectares of French-style gardens. To achieve this feat will have required no fewer than 15 years of historical research and months of physical labor. The esplanade of Chambord is unrecognizable. 12,000 cubic meters of earth are plowed up, shifted, and leveled, all under the watchful eye of the chief engineer.
Is the earth good? Not too much rubble in it?
The earth's good here, but if we do find any stones, we put them to one side.
The principle at Chambord was to retrieve the existing earth, turn it over, and work it and store it on site. We didn't bring any new earth in to keep truck traffic to a minimum.
Once the earth is laid, the planting can start. More than 600 trees in all, cherries and limes. It's a tricky time for the gardeners. They must make sure everything is absolutely perfect.
We'll need to scrape a bit this side. We're on the embankment.
Your work seems to be very precise.
We have to place the clods to the nearest centimetre. It depends on the soil levels. The soil has to come up to here and not any lower. It has to be the perfect height.
We're at 10.
OK, 10's good.
The trees are adjusted by eye.
Towards me?
Too far, let it go a bit. Too far, a little less. That's good.
Once the trees are planted, a mixture of limestone and gravel is delivered for the garden's pathways. In the 17th century, it took years to create the pathways. These days, they'll be finished within 3 months.
We're using machines that are normally used to construct city roads and highways. But that's due to the vastness of this site, measuring 6.5 hectares.
A stone's throw from the pathways under construction, a surveyor and a mason are marking the outline of one of 4 giant fleurs-de-lis.
I take measurements which tell me the positions of the different parts of the flowers. Once I have the exact position, Mohammed only has to plant in his rods, and we have the exact outline.
The iron rods in the ground mark out the design. Steel strips are then welded to the rods, and the flower gradually takes shape. Each fleur-de-lis will cover 3,000 square meters, the equivalent of half a football field. The big challenge for the gardeners is forming a strict divide between the path and the lawn. There's no room for approximation.
We make sure no earth spills over onto the gravel. For a little bit like this, we can use a blower to clean it up. The real reason is to prevent weeds from taking root on the pathways.
Meanwhile, in one of the castle's towers, the chief engineer meets with the general heritage curator.
Do you have the details of the shrubs?
Boxwood, shrubs, and yews.
The 2 men are examining an exceptional document dated 1749.
Sandy pathways to rake.
It's the maintenance contract for the French garden of the time. Everything is listed in it, so it's a precious source of information.
The gardener agrees not to cut branches without orders.
The archive documents are so precise that we can't allow ourselves to reinvent the gardens. It's an identical reconstruction of the old gardens. We hope to see the ghost of the gardens appear.
After successful winter planting, 7 months later, the Chambord estate has its best face on. Here's the view that Louis XV had when he looked out onto his garden in 1734. Wide, symmetrical paths, contributing to a perfect harmony that visitors so enjoy.
It's a very beautiful reconstruction of the French-style garden. They've done a fantastic job.
I saw on TV that they'd renovated it, and frankly, it's magnificent.
For the director of the estate, the gardens bring new surprises every day.
I love this place as it starts to take on more colour with the beds of thyme, plants and flowers. Plus there's the vanishing point with the view towards the Closson River.
The result matches the cost of the project of €3.5 million. The castle now has its refined gardens, which will blossom and flourish over the coming years.